Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are ready to do Apollo 15. Now, this is the final launch of the Apollo program that doesn't bring along moon rovers. So we're going to hop over to our R&D here, and I want to take a quick look at what we might want to bring along for moon rovers. So that might include things like, that's medium landing gear there. Heavy landing would include all of this stuff. That's really not very necessary. We probably want to make our way down over towards like field science into something. This is heavy rotors, the big ol' Rove Maxes. Something like field science might not be bad though. That gets us the Probodobodyne Rove Mate as well as the external command seat. And I think that these are what's really needed to craft our rover for this. So let's grab advanced landing here. We have 735. Okay, so 160. Advanced exploration would give us access to some of these things that we're going to need later, but it's not really a now thing. So I think we grab advanced landing. We grab field science. That'll give us most of what we need for our rover. Now we've got 275 to spare. So that's fine. We could grab something like propulsion systems to grab ants, or something along those lines. I would rather, well, we could actually maybe 90 plus 160 would be what, 350? Or no, 250. Yeah, we could grab both of these. So that would give us access to spiders and to twitches and to just a lot more things that we can do over here. So that seems fine as far as our science expenditure goes. I like it. So we're going to hop into the VAB here, and we're basically ready at this point to do another relatively standard moon mission. So this is going to be the last one of this particular iteration. We're going to load up the Apollo 14. We don't need to make any modifications to this at this point. I would like to change this at some point, but I don't really see a good way to do it without just a ridiculous amount of additional science. So for right now, this is what we're going to be launching. Let's bring along, instead of Jeb, Bill, Bob this time, this is going to be Corvi, Billtop, and Donnie, as before. Okay, so we're going to be bringing these guys in Apollo 15, and let's launch this. Phenomenal. So, as per usual, this is going to be following basically the same flight profile as our previous iterations of these moon missions. We're going to be landing in a different location, grabbing the science, deploying science, but it's going to be very, very similar, right? That's definitely something that's going to be the case. As far as once we have the rover, we're probably going to try to land near boundaries of biomes, and then we just run out to another biome on the rover, grab some data there, and then come back as well. So we grab essentially double data from those. But we're not at that point just yet. So let's blast off here. We are off to the moon. I like it. So our apoapsis height is currently chilling at about 1 kilometer right now. That's definitely not high enough to begin our gravity turn. I did like about how it felt doing the gravity turn at like 30 kilometers. I felt like that at the apoapsis height of 30 kilometers. I felt like that was pretty decent. And that's just basically cranking it to the horizon. So yes, obviously, if we were to do a shallower gravity turn, that would probably end up being better. Really, we'd want to start it probably sometime like now, but we'd want to be moving kind of slowly on it. It's trying to head over on its own a little bit here. But like I said, heading over kind of slowly on the gravity turn, getting ourselves a decent amount of horizontal speed here. I'm keeping an eye on the apoapsis height there. For the moment, that's fine. And really, we should probably be like locked to prograde right now, but I want to be getting more horizontal speed. I'm keeping an eye on that apoapsis height. At this point, I am comfortable with going directly over to the horizon. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing here. Ooh, definitely over-rolling it there. Okay. Looks good. So we're just going to be punching horizontally here for a while. There we go. And we can see our apoapsis height is going to be getting up into space fairly soon here. but we're not quite to that point yet. Still having to fight this roll a little bit, but that's something we can definitely fix a little bit later on. Okay. Our apoapsis height is plenty high, no doubt about that, but we'll just burn out this stage. Get a little bit of extra distance here, and 300 kilometers sounds decent. So we'll just go up to 300 kilometers. There we go. I guess 301. But we're going to have a little bit of drag, so it's probably going to drop down to a decent amount there. As soon as we see these particle effects going away, I feel comfortable with deploying our fairing. There we go. Our very oddly lit fairing is going away now. We're going to have to bump this up a little bit. So there we go. Just bumping it up ever so slightly. And now, of course, I don't want to be tracking all of this debris right now. We're going to need to go through and clean up this debris, but I mean, we don't want to just delete all of it right now. We want to leave the stuff on the moon so we can see where we've been. So there's definitely some of that. For now, we're going to circularize over here, as per usual. And let's get angled for this. It is very dark right now. Okay. Hopefully that will change soon. It's very difficult to see. So that's definitely noted. For now, we're flying pretty much on instruments, so it's okay. Nothing too major there. We'll just get aligned over this way, and let's warp. There we go. Now it's getting lighter. Oh, we also had an eclipse at that same time. Okay, that explains why it was so dark. Gotcha. So that's fine. We had a bit of an eclipse going on there, but no big deal. So we need to get into position for this burn. We drifted off slightly post-warp. And we'll just do something kind of like this. 40 seconds. 30. 20. 10. And 2, 1, 0, mark. Excellent. So let's get into a full-fledged orbit here, and we'll get our inclination change. We should set the moon as our target for right now. There we go. We can see we're off by 1.2 degrees. I'm not shocked about that. We pick up so much roll going through the atmosphere there, and that's probably due to like the position of our tail fins or something like that. It's manageable, so I'm not too concerned about it. But that's the reason why our inclination is a little bit off every time. It's not a big deal, though. It really, really isn't. So, at this point, we are physics warping through the last portion of this burn. 3, 2, 1, 0-ish. Okay, this'll do. Cool. So we're going to head up to the ascending node here. And we're going to add our maneuver here. So we need 1.2 degrees of inclination change. No big deal. There's that completely done. 42.7 meters per second. Let's get oriented for that. Something overshot it a little bit, but something kind of like this. Okay. There we go. Now the question is, did I add any trim while doing that? I don't actually know. We want to be in docking mode here, SAS off, and yep, I did add trim. Okay, let's fix that. We need to be in maneuver mode. No, hang on. Staging? No, what mode do we need to be in? This one. There we go. Let's fix that trim. Okay, there we go. SAS on, and over we go. We've got about 30 seconds until this burn. About 20 seconds. 10. And mark. Cool. So here's our inclination change. I want to be in here, keeping an eye on our inclination here. 2, 1, and 0. This is good enough. Fantastic. Where's the moon? Moon is here. So we would want to burn sometime around, maybe a little bit later than this, actually. And I was grabbing the wrong thing there. I want to change the timing on the node. Sometime around here, perhaps? Seems quasi-reasonable. But I think we want to delay this a little bit. Oh, yeah. Something more like here. Cool. Obviously, we're going to go down to that same 115 orbit. If it ain't fixed, or rather, if it ain't broke, why fix it? It works very well, so we'll go for that. This is kind of slow. That's kind of fast. Okay, let's bring it back down to about here. That'll do. I like it. So now we're going to head on over here and let's physics warp. This time I'm not going to create the trim. Definitely not going to have trim here. Okay. So something along the lines of right here. Oh, we're physics warping this. Okay. Now we can proper warp. There we go. So off we go to the moon here in just a moment. Well, in like 10 minutes, right? So warping on through. No problem whatsoever. And there's the moon right there. That's how we know this is a good burn timing. But it's going to be delayed a little bit. That's fine. 10 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. There we go. Just orienting us a little bit onto the node there. And it's going to be a bit of a lengthy burn, so let's physics warp this one. We should definitely turn this gimbal off so that we are not picking up that rocking motion. That would be for the best. And from here, we can pretty much just lock to prograde. This will be fine. So about 1 minute left in this burn here. And 40 seconds. Cool. We've got lots of fuel. We know that. That's definitely a thing. And about 20 meters per second left in the burn. Now, this is going way up here. I want to check in on what this burn actually is. Okay, we've overshot. So let's bring this on around to retrograde here, and we'll do a small corrective burn here. We've definitely overshot that one. I just wasn't paying attention to what the final burn was and was relying on the maneuver node, which I should not be doing. So we're going to bring this right on back to about here. Cool. We just need to line it up with our existing orbits. So that'll be fine. 117 is close enough. And we'll just circularize that right on up like so. Cool. So let's get into position for that circularization burn. We've, of course, got lots of delta V left in this stage. No concerns whatsoever there. And let's warp. Here we come, moon. Phenomenal. Going to be loading into the moon's sphere of influence very, very shortly here. Very shortly indeed. Here we go. So now we're loading into the sphere of influence, and then our time warp will re-accelerate. There we go. And our actual burn here is going to be in about a minute. So that's fine. We will warp on forward. 40 seconds, 30, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Excellent. We can physics warp this burn as well. And that'll be absolutely fine. This is definitely starting to feel routine at this point. There's no doubt about that. Which is why I'm glad we're going to be shaking it up in the next two flights. So just bringing this on down, having our apoapsis be a bit closer. This is good enough, though. I'm not too concerned about it. That'll be fine. So at this point, we definitely need to make sure that we have Doni in the capsule. So we will transfer over Doni. There we go. And then we can bring... Let's see. Corvi landed on the moon previously. So this time we're going to have Billtop. That'll be fine. So we're going to transfer over Billtop. They're both pilots, so that's absolutely fine. And now we're going to undock here. Did we just re-dock instantly? No, we're just very, very close together. Okay, gotcha. We're just going to get some distance here. There we go. That'll do. And we're going to hop over to retrograde. It doesn't matter really where we do a retrograde burn at this point. So we're just going to do a real quick... Oh, we need to activate this engine. That would help. We'll activate this engine. We'll do a real quick retrograde burn and bring us Well, first off, we're just going to get some additional distance before ramping up here. There we go. And now we're going to bring our periapsis down to 15 kilometers. So downward we go. That's 16 and 15. Perfect. So at this periapsis, we're going to want to circularize that, and we'll bring that right on down. It's very sensitive. It doesn't have to be perfect. It really, really doesn't. Like, this is good enough. So we'll do something like that. We'll need to orient for it, of course, and we should probably extend our landing legs at some point. It doesn't really matter when we do it. Now seems as good a time as any so that I don't forget. Cool. So we're going to align over here, and we'll have to head on around. Phenomenal. So we're going to be dipping down into low lunar orbit here. And we'll have to scope out a landing site. I'm not sure where exactly it's going to be yet. I'd like it to be... It doesn't have to be strictly equatorial. We know we're a little bit short on fuel for this thing in the bottom stage here, so we can't go too far. That's for sure. But we'll see. We'll see what we end up with. So about 5 more seconds on this burn here. 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. And it's going to be a pretty brief burn. We're just circularizing this up. 3, 2, 1, and that'll do. Yep, that's absolutely fine. So now let's turn on the view of our debris so that we can see where we've previously landed. So this is where Apollo 14 landed. This is where Apollo 12 landed. And where's Apollo 11's landing site? Here's Apollo 11's landing site. We're actually going to be passing over that very shortly here. That's Apollo 11's landing site right there. Phenomenal. So, where do we want to land? We haven't landed in this crater yet. So maybe that would be a decent landing spot. If we were to warp around to here, I want to just verify that we need science from this crater. We should. This is going to be a far side crater. It is, however, the sun is going down on it right now. So maybe we should actually come over to this crater instead. Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards right now. So we're going to warp forward over here. Yeah, this is the east far side crater. I think we'll actually land in this crater. That's fairly close to where Apollo 12 landed, but it is within this crater at that point. And we are going to do an inclination change around here. So we're going to bring this down, and we're going to decelerate to about here. Very similar profile to how we landed in... Where are we? How we landed in this crater, up this way. So that'll be fine. It's a little close to Apollo 12, but that should be a brand new biome for us, I think. We don't have any debris there. It definitely should be a brand new biome. So that'll be fine. We'll get into position for this landing burn here, or really our trajectory change is what this is. It's setting us up for our landing. And we're probably... No, I think this timing is okay. Maybe delay it ever so slightly to be like here. Yeah, I think that's fine. It will orbit underneath us a little bit, and we want to slightly overshoot the crater. So that'll be fine. Burn is starting in 1 second, and now. Phenomenal. So we are now on an impact trajectory. Looks good. And we're just going to aim to have our landing site be about here for the moment, but of course, later it's going to be over here. So inward it comes. Moving in fits and starts here, but that's probably due to rounding errors, if I had to guess. Okay, here's good. So we'll call that fine, and then sometime around here, we're going to look to do a big old retrograde burn and actually end up bringing it down somewhere around here. And then about here, we'll do a further refinement of that burn. Okay, so that looks great. We don't want to run out of fuel over here, of course, and let's get aligned for this. This is in about 2 minutes. That's fine. So let's get aligned for that, and let's make sure that our fuel is good. So we'll pin these guys open, and we're going to say in here, just to make sure we've got sufficient fuel for this, and we definitely should. So that happened... Hang on, I definitely did that wrong. Okay, in here. There we go. So we're draining all of the fuel out of the MEM up here at this point, and that's fine. Then we're going to drain some fuel out of here. This is, of course, our ascent fuel, but we just want to make sure that we're not going to go splat, right? That is the main goal here. We're not actually trying to use up our ascent fuel. We just want to make sure it's in a usable position if necessary. So that'll be fine. We are currently going to be entering this crater in just a moment. So 1 minute until our burn here. This is considered the east crater. Okay. I don't really want to be landing in this, like, secondary crater here. So we're going to be bypassing that and commencing our burn in about 15 seconds here. We should definitely be up in this flatter area is where we're angling for. So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and I just want to be in retrograde here. 2, 1, 0, mark. So we'll commence our braking burn here. I don't actually care about this maneuver. We'll get rid of it. We are mostly interested in this surface velocity right now. So I want to be basically at the horizon, killing our surface velocity. So that'll be fine. We want to get our horizontal speed basically gone, or very, very close to it. And that is definitely what we're working on here. About 300 meters per second to go on this braking burn. And we're definitely cruising right along. We can physics warp a bit here. 200 meters per second to go. Okay. And at this point, I'm going to hop over to retrograde. We want to probably be killing some of our vertical speed as well. Okay. Where are we at here? Basically on the edge of the crater here. Sure. That's maybe not exactly what we want to go for. I'm going to kill some vertical speed here and not horizontal. Just so that we fly a little further here. That's the goal. Okay, something like that. Perfect. So now we're going to fly beyond this crater, and we're going to come on down. This is maybe a little bit more fuel intensive than our previous landings. We should have plenty of fuel for our ascent stage, though. I'm really not that concerned about it. Okay, I'm going to start slightly early here. We do have a decent amount of horizontal speed. So about 5 seconds. I'm going to start now. We're going to bring this right on down. Like I said, a little early on the landing burn here. But I just want to make sure. So we're looking to get our horizontal speed killed at this moment. Okay, something kind of like this. That'll do. And downward we go. We're going almost straight down, but not entirely. Our horizontal speed is actually decreasing here, so I like it. That looks good. So now we'll trust this countdown a little bit more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and starting it now. Beautiful. Going into stability assist and cutting some throttle here. Ooh, hello. Okay. Let's get some deceleration going. Excellent. Stability assist, I don't like this rocking that we've got going on here. And there we go. Beautiful landing. Contact. Let's do it. So let's grab our science here. And of course, once again, we have landed right at the end of this episode, right on schedule. So that's absolutely fine. We're going to do our science in the next episode and make our way on back. But this is the last of this iteration of the moon landings. The next one will include the rover, and I have no idea how we're going to handle that one. We'll see. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time. Also, I'm just remembering that we didn't actually move the fuel over. Let me just hop over here real quick. We'll take a quick look at how our fuel usage went. I'll address this next episode as well, most likely, if I remember, but we are going to do these one at a time. So we're just going to move our fuel back up here. I think we've got enough fuel to not have used up any of our ascent fuel, but we'll double check that. So let's warp through this. It's kind of slow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is good. So we'll unpin this, pin this, and do out. Oh, we need to unwarp. Right. Out. There we go. So yeah, we had a little bit of fuel left over, but we definitely used a little more than the last one. Okay. There we go. See you all next time.